basically what this does is it allows you to verify all of the fields in an instrument at once through the data resolution workflow. So we've talked before about this. Let me go to one of the, I don't know if I have any records in here yet. I guess it's gonna let me set up my auto ID so I don't have to mess with that. There we go. So I've just pulled in this instrument with the basic demography form template from REDCap when I built this. And so you have two options when you have data entry forms. You can have the comment button for the comment log. So you could go in here and just add a comment. So let me just enter some dummy data here so we can. All right, so now that I have data here, and you can see it also added the history button, so you can view the data history. So if I accidentally messed this up and had to enter another address, you have a history of what the fields were and what they were, what the values were and what they've been changed to. So you can also add comments here. You could say, you know, this is not a real phone number. Please check. And you can save that. And then you'll be able to see that there's a comment made. So let me click off of that. And you'll see that this button turns yellow, or this icon turns yellow. And I could click on that and I could see the comment log here. So when you set up a project, like I was saying, you have two options. You can either have the comment log, or you can enable the data resolution workflow. So if we go back to the project setup and click on additional customizations, you'll see here that this enable field comment log is automatically checked, and that's checked for every project that you create by default, and it automatically defaults to the field comment log. So what you would want to do if you want to use the data resolution workflow is click on, so you select it from the drop down and then click save. And then this will pop up when you do it because it explains to you what the data resolution workflow is. There's a video for it if you want to watch the video. But then the next thing you have to do is set your user privileges. So you have to give users the ability to use the data resolution workflow. So we have to set the privileges. And then there's different privileges that you can give them. They can either open queries, you can have people respond to queries and close queries. And so somebody could, like, if I'm just a you know, level 1 worker kind of thing, and I'm flagging things for my supervisor, I might be able to open a data query, but I couldn't respond or close a data query. You know, I could set that. And then the supervisor could have all privileges to where they can go in, and if they have to verify the data, they can do that. So close that, and we'll go to user rights, and we'll click on edit user privileges. And down here for the data resolution workflow, this is where you would want to set those privileges. So somebody could just have view access to that, so they could see the data resolution workflow. They can open the queries, they can respond to open queries, or they can open and respond queries, and then open, close, and respond. So this would be like your, you know, top level supervisor who could say, yeah, I fixed the problem and I closed it. So I'm just going to do that for now. So when I save that, so this is just setting up the data resolution workflow. And these are the things that you would have to set up before you could use the verify all fields external module. So now that we have that set up, I'm going to click manage, and I'm going to go, and I haven't enabled this yet, so we'll find it. So verify all, and then we'll configure this. And there's no configuration to this. You would check this if you want to do debugging, but that would be if you're testing it out and you want to make sure things are working and it's going to, and here it says if you want to find out why the button is or isn't showing. So we'll just go ahead and save that. Now, if I go to this record, there is a verify all field down here. And basically now when I click on the comment log, it's not just the comment log anymore. So you can see here that even though these were the comments before, now it's telling me what the data value is. Now it's telling me what the comment was, and then I'm verifying or I'm opening a query. So if I hadn't made a comment here, I could open up a query and actually type in, verify this, check this, and I could, assign it to a user. So if I had Terry assigned to this project, I could be like, hey, this phone number looks fishy. Please check it out for me. And then it would notify them by either email or REDCap Messenger. So that's, I don't want to get into too much of the data resolution workflow here. But the only thing I want to show you is that if I verify this, so, my name is obviously correct. So I'm going to verify data value, and then I click that. Now it turns green to show that it's a verified data value. Now, if I had a huge form that had hundreds of these fields, and I didn't want to have to go through each one of these and click, yes, that's verified, that's verified, that's verified. That's where this module comes in, because now all I can do is I can just cursory, glance at all these and say, yep, that's correct. That last name is correct. That address is correct. If everything is correct, we'll just ignore this problem here. But, if everything is correct, then I just scroll down and I just click verify all fields. And then it tells me which fields are verified and which fields have been skipped. So it's automatically verified the rest of these fields. It ignored the first name. It ignored the record ID. It ignored the first name because that's already been verified. It ignored the record ID just because that's the REDCap record ID. And then it ignored the telephone because it probably has the comment in it. So that needs to be checked. So if I hit OK, now all of these fields have been verified for this record. So it's just a simple module that may save people some time if they're using the data resolution workflow. Like we have some projects that are using health record data that they're importing from some other system like Epic or Cerner, and they're wanting to make sure that data gets pulled in correctly. That might be something that that would be helpful, because they're importing the data. They're not manually entering it. It's coming from another system, and they have to go through and make sure that the data got pulled in correctly. And you want to make sure that people's names and birth dates and MRNs are correct, or their contact information, because if you're going to be contacting these people, you want to make sure their emails are correct and their phone numbers are correct and that kind of thing. And so if you're going to have to go through and verify the data anyway, this is a good way to show that the data has been verified, and then you can move on from that. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
So remind me, if I want to verify that phone number, how do I do that?
So you would just go in and verify it. So I think that the reason it didn't verify it with the verify all is because there was a comment made, or maybe because I had it set to open query.
Yeah. Okay.
So let me just add another record and see if it would automatically do it. Because it should automatically add record instead. Yep. So I think I got data for everything. Yeah. So I think it might have just been because there was a comment or I had set the open query. But I think I set the open query and then I hit cancel. So we'll just leave it alone here. So there's nothing on the comments and it should verify everything. Yeah. So it verified everything.
Okay, so now if you change like my name, okay, and then save it. So now it's pending and it needs verified.
Yeah.
And is there a way for me to see what all needs to be verified?
It would, well, I mean, you would just have to scroll for it and look for either the red exclamation point or the, the yellow comment bubble.
Isn't there a place that, okay, so over there on the left where it says resolve issues, if I click on that,
Oh, so I think, well, so what would happen is I think I have to have, I would have to, so even though this is unverified, it's not an open query. So, so I think if I open up a query, now it should pop up in the resolve issues. Yeah.
oh, I see. So it doesn't, there's no,
Yeah. So just because it was, well, okay. So look, there is a data verified. Jesus, that word. So let's go back to the record status dashboard. Yeah, it would be nice if it just showed all that together and then you could filter out instead of having to find it. So let's go back to resolve issues. And yeah, so now it's showing me that there's one that is has been changed.
Okay. Perfect.
And I guess all status types there. So you could.
Yep. Oh, sweet. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the nice thing about this is then you can just, so if I went back, I could just, if that turned out to be the actual value, then you could just click verify all and it'll verify it all for you.
Right.
Oh, well, it didn't do that. I guess once you de-verify it, it has to be done here. So.
The reason I ask is I had somebody ask me recently on a project. They have it set up so they want to have one person locked down. They want that one person to sort of verify everything and then lock it down so that if there's a change, they want the coordinators to be able to make a change, but if they do, then that one person needs to be able to see what happened and then go back in and re-verify that data. And I had suggested using the lock option, and then they contact them if there need to be a change, but they wanted to allow the coordinators themselves, because they have multiple sites, and be able to do that themselves. And this is exactly what they needed. I just have never used it. One of those downsides of us not really, I mean, we don't build projects for every kind of scenario. So it's nice to see the functionality and then think, somebody asked me about that. So now we can offer that. Yeah, this is exactly what I think that they're looking for. Very timely.
Yeah. And Jeanette asked if, do you think it could be used with check for duplicates across multiple projects, external module? I mean, it would only work for that project. So if you were in, it's only verifying the data, the value that's in that data. It's not checking it. It's not checking it against anything else. It's basically, all it's doing is basically saving you from having to click every field and say verify, verify, verify. That's it. It's not verifying data. It's just saving you from having to say that you're verifying the data. So you're doing all the work, and it's just turning it into one button click essentially. So I don't know if that answers your question. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions?